All right, welcome everybody to another DeKalb County UNITES webinar. We have been having these every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 o'clock. If you've been attending them in the past, it's just a wealth of information. I can't say enough about if you're a small business owner or you run a nonprofit or a 501c6. Coming on these webinars, there's just a wealth of information to be shared. I do want to remind everyone that this coming Monday, we have another PPP and EIDL discussion with our very own Dr. Jock, Sommese, Mark Kerman from Seifert & Company, and Frank Roberts from First National Bank of Omaha. You can find those webinars, the past ones, by going to DeKalbCountyUnites.com, as well as you can register for the one June 1st on Monday via DeKalbCountyUnites.com too. Just go to DeKalbCountyUnites.com, click on webinars, and you will find all the recordings as well as the ones that are coming up. So really quick, what is DeKalb County UNITES? It's a grassroots initiative that started right when shelter in place hit and the COVID-19 crisis hit. And it was members of government entities, the private sector, the nonprofit sector, all coming together in order to figure out what can we do to help the small businesses of our community, because we knew that with shelter in place that people weren't going to be able to go out and shop and dine and go to the bars, that there was going to be a huge impact on all of those businesses. So we wanted to figure out how to make a positive economic impact on the small business community within DeKalb County. We did three major things, which we are all extremely proud of the results that we've had. This today, I guess, is going to be the fourth major thing that we'll add to that list. But the first one was the website, DeKalbCountyUnites.com. Go there, you're going to find a wealth of information from all the stimulus money that's out there on the federal, state, and local level, as well as I mentioned, the webinar. So please check it out. And again, I can't stress it enough. If you have any question at all, just go to our website, fill out the contact us form, and we'll do everything we can to get those answers for you. That's been really powerful to be able to make those connections for people, especially a lot of angst, a lot of frustration, just a lot of stress out there. So we're here to help eliminate some of that for you and get you to the people that you need. So our website was the first thing. The second thing that we did is, in conjunction with the DeKalb County Economic Development Corporation, board members and members of DeKalb County UNITES got on the phone and called all the major employers in our area to find out if they could redirect some of their spending right now locally, rather than buying something on Amazon or buying something in bulk from a national provider. Is there a company locally that they could spend that money on? As well as a lot of them had budgets. They knew they were going to spend X, Y, or Z over the course of 2020. Could they accelerate that spending in the local economy? And it was wonderful. We had over 50 employers that actually did that, and that made a great impact on our local economy. And then lastly, we have these webinars that we've been doing every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 o'clock. They've been absolutely fantastic, and as I already mentioned, go to DeKalb County UNITES and you can find out more about them. So today, first I wanted to introduce my right-hand woman here, Courtney Strohacker. She's with the DeKalb County Convention and Visitors Bureau. She has been an incredible asset for us to be able to get the word out to everybody as soon as possible when new developments arise. So thank you, Courtney. My name is Cohen Barnes. I own Sundog IT. We're a local IT firm here in DeKalb County with offices in Rockford, Naperville, and DeKalb. And then I thought I would take a moment to let Dr. Jock, Sommese and Dr. Mya Groza introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about yourself. So Jock, you want to start?
Sure, it's usually ladies first, Cohen.
Oh, you're right. But did I get that wrong?
No worries. Thank you, Jock.
You've been doing this a lot, people. Go ahead, Mya.
I am Mya Groza. Actually, the R and the O got mixed up. So Groza.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry.
No worries. So yeah, I've been a professor at NIU since 2014 and was tenured last year, so associate professor of marketing, and have lived in the community since then. My husband and I live in Sycamore, and we have 3 young children who are about to be 5, 3, and 1. So we've adjusted to home life in a new way, a very busy way, and are loving it. And we're happy to give back in this way. Excited to share these survey results with you today.
Awesome, thanks. Jock?
Well, thank you for saying my name correctly, Cohen, since you've been on a roll here. My name is Jock Sommese. I am an advisor at the Small Business Development Center at Waubonsee Community College in connection or in partnership with Kishwaukee College. I just wanted to clear something up. The email that you probably received said that I was the executive director. I am not, I'm an advisor. The executive director is Harriet Parker, who is a wonderful woman, very knowledgeable, and she puts up with me. So those of you who know me, that's probably the toughest thing. I've been a serial entrepreneur. I've been a serial adjunct faculty. I continue to do both. And it's the mission of the Small Business Development Center is to help you start, survive, and thrive in your business. Right now, we're talking about surviving more than anything else, but I think there's good news ahead. And as we go through the survey, I think you'll be able to see that.
And all you small business owners out there, I've gotten to know Jock over the last couple of months quite well. He's a great resource. You can reach out to him if he doesn't know the answer. He's got so many connections in the community now that he's going to be able to get you in touch with someone that's probably going to be able to help you move the needle on your small business. So exciting times. We get to talk about the DeKalb County Small Business Survey today. I believe the survey went out Tuesday or somewhere around there, and we've gotten a bunch of results. I am going to go ahead and share my screen, so I'll bring up a document that Mya is going to go through and share with us all the results about what the people out there are thinking as we start considering returning to work, returning to shopping at big stores, and returning to downtown and restaurants and all that. I did want to let everyone know, if you want to ask a question, just move your mouse down to the bottom of the screen. You can click on chat or you can click on Q&A, ask your question however you want, and we'll make sure we get that answered at this time. So without further ado, let me share. There we go. And does that look okay, Mya?
It does. Yeah, and if you move right to the next slide, it says, here we are. We're going to share the consumer sentiment. And yeah, once again, myself, Mya Groza, and Jock, and a special thank you note to fellow DeKalb County UNITES members, Cohen Barnes, Rena Cotzones, Jennifer Gross, Bill McMahon, Brian Oster, and Rose Tremmel, because they gave some incredible feedback that really enhanced the survey's design and distribution. So thank you. It truly is a group effort, and I'm proud of how this research collaboration truly came together. Next slide, please. Yeah, the timeline. So we have been kind of closed down in a stay-at-home order here since March 21st. And that was when the moment when the non-essential small businesses were asked to close. Then about a month after, our group in one of our webinars said, hey, let's talk about how do we kind of think about this next stage about reaching and retaining customers. So Jock and I really did a lot of research and found a lot of national level and global level consumer sentiment surveys. So, and what that was telling us is, yes, the people are acting very differently, that there is kind of a broad spectrum of behavior. And it classified us into the rural area, which I would say we are, but I wanted more. And Jock and I were talking about, and we're saying, what does this matter? You know, what does this mean for an actual DeKalb County resident or people who shop in DeKalb County? So the idea of creating a survey came about. And we quickly put a survey together, and actually by May 12th had achieved and obtained institutional review board. So it went through a vetting process through Northern Illinois University. It was seen by other colleagues across campus and really followed the protocol and received this exempt status. So we were able to move quickly with our research. And then next, that took us to the data collection. We were able to launch a survey on May 19th and collected through, it was reached out through social media, email, text messages, and some radio announcements. So that's kind of the timeline of how we got to today. Yes, if you'd move the results, please. And the big number, we are so excited to show you that 1,000, I think it's behind the video here, but 1,001 respondents took the survey during that time period. That is incredible for survey research. I conduct that for other areas, digital marketing, for NIU, and when I get 300 for a survey research, I'm ecstatic. So to see this number really shows you how much DeKalb County consumers truly care about small businesses. And that's very wonderful to see. And we ought to just be thankful for that number. And thank you to each of you who took this survey and gave your insights. It's really going to provide some actionable results for our small businesses as they move to that next phase. So here's a breakdown of a map of DeKalb County. You can see that our largest number of respondents came from DeKalb. And then Sycamore, and thank you to everyone up in Genoa. They were nipping at the heels there with 137 respondents. And it's really neat to see all across the whole county we had representation. And that tells you what a strong county this is and how people do really pull together. Our sample was 92% identify as white. It was heavily female dominated as well, 76%. So that is not representative of our entire county. So this is a bit of a skewed sample. We need to remember that and think of these demographics. And I can't quite see the number, but I see that 40-some%, is it 47, Cohen?
Yeah, 46. And actually, Maya, if you click on the video, that's your end, that's just covering it up. You can probably drag the video out of the way for you.
Oh, you're right. That helped greatly. Thank you. 46% have children living at home. And that was of various ages. So there was, newborns up to then families adjusting to college age students coming back home and living at home. Oh, I think Jock wants to say something here.
I do, and I need to unmute myself for that to happen. So I'm not quite sure, maybe Cohen muted me for that. But seriously, the respondents really is a foreshadow for the support of small business, like you said. I think that's just tremendous. The skewing of females, how do you think that may have impacted this, since I think DeKalb has about 56 females, 44 males typically? And when I say DeKalb, I'm talking about the county. So do you think that skewed it at all? Or how would it skew it?
Yeah, I would say, maybe if we think next, let's go to the next slide and look at age. I think when we look at maybe with this, because there are many research studies that show that women, females do make kind of the purchasing power decisions in the household. So a couple of people even said to me who took the survey, they said, oh, I had my wife take it. So while they were reporting their gender identification, they perhaps were talking or kind of reporting about the whole family. So I'm not so worried about that. I do think that it is an okay kind of statement. Okay. But one thing too that's amazing and kind of not like the rest of the United States is the educational attainment. So this is a highly educated sample. 56% of the respondents had achieved a 4-year bachelor's degree or a master's degree or a professional degree. I want to say that's more in the 30% for United States. So this was a very highly educated sample.
Go Huskies.
Yes. And the age range here kind of varied. As you can see, the largest numbers at 35 to 44 years old and 45 to 54 years old coming in. But it's kind of a nice distribution there. 70% of the sample are married, and then some employment numbers. So 48% of the sample was a paid employee working 30 hours or more. And we did have kind of a high, the second category of percent being not working, retired. So that was kind of a higher number that surprised me.
Mia, I think the county averages about 31 as the median age. So
okay,
kind of skewed a little older also, which I think does make a little sense.
Yeah, agreed with that. Yep, you can move to the next slide, please, Cohen. And then here's kind of some interesting change questions that we asked in this survey. And we really were interested in their employment changes. So you can see here that 22% actually had no change and were already unemployed. So that is where kind of our retired folks would fit if they took this survey. And then no change employed and working out of the home. So 27% of what I would kind of consider people who fall into the essential business category taking the survey. And then 24% here, that's interesting, that have experienced a change in their employment, meaning that they are now working from home. And then change 7% that sadly became unemployed during this time once the stay-at-home order began. And then 16% kind of was other, so there was varying kind of ones that were suggested there, like saying, oh, I own my small business, but I'm still working out of the home, but then I changed to back home. So it gave a lot of people the truly that, right, this is a changing situation, and to fall into 4 boxes just doesn't exist. And I think that tells us a lot about people's lives right now during this pandemic crisis, truly, is that there's so much differing narratives going on.
One thing, I'm sorry, that I thought was great when I saw that result, though, is thinking of recovery. So a small business owners out there wondering what is going to be the long-term impact of this. It was wonderful to see 65% of the people had zero change in income, which means they're still going to go back most likely to their old spending habits and things like that, which is wonderful. I was actually thinking that number might have been lower than it was. It's still not a exciting number, but it's better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and actually, Cohen, when you add that up, I mean, 65 plus 6%, so 71% are in a similar financial position or even better than before. So yeah, you're right about that. As a small business prepares, there are consumers that do want to get out there and spend in certain categories. Then 21% did experience a pay reduced, and 7% said prefer not to answer. So that kind of gives you a broad background of what the sample looked like. And then now we can move towards talking about specific questions. So this was the very first question that we asked in the survey. We just wanted to know the precautions that people are taking to protect themselves. And the 3 categories that we used to assess this were practicing social distancing, so remaining 6 feet away from others, then avoiding physical stores. And then the gray was wearing a face mask when unable to remain 6 feet away from others. So you can see here that the big thing that kind of pops out to me, right, is the avoiding physical stores, the black, kind of the never. So that, yeah, that people are going into physical stores and enjoying that type of way of getting goods and purchasing for their home. There are, though, and what we're seeing kind of they're finding nationally too is about this 10% of people that are in a complete following of pure social distancing, staying within their home, using delivery options. So that is aligned with kind of what we're seeing nationally. Any thoughts here, Jock, that you'd like to add?
I was really kind of impressed by the fact that there are some people, that the majority of the people are doing the right thing most of the time. And I really thought that was a positive thing, because we don't hear a lot about that. We hear about the people that aren't wearing masks and aren't social distancing. So this kind of showed, and you know, the numbers reflect the county as far as not many deaths, not many cases. So this made a lot of sense to me. And it made me proud to be in DeKalb because of that.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah, if you can move to the next slide, Cohen. So here's one of the questions that we asked about how people are feeling. And two of the emotions that we tried to kind of tease out of people are, are you feeling lonely or connected to others? And here you can see that, yes, that people are feeling a lot more, a little more, about the same, lonely, and then connected to others, less of that. So it kind of makes me sad for when we think about virtual technologies and the avenue that we're using right now, because this is suggesting that, it's still, the physical connection does matter. And we'll see later on in the survey that that is something that people are desiring to get back again.
Yeah, and it's funny because we do talk about the electronics and are we really connected to people because we can use our phone. Obviously, all that information that we're getting about, oh, it's just as good as being there, isn't.
Yeah, I agree. So this was a question that we asked across two time periods. So we asked them to think back. This was a reflective. So thinking back to before COVID-19, how important were small businesses to you? And then during COVID-19, how important are small businesses to you? So you can see that we actually had a jump in the increase of extremely important, and stayed very similar for very important, and then actually went down for moderate importance. So this is showing that, small businesses are an important part of our community at all times. And yeah, it's, that they didn't see that big of difference, that it would be even more important during the crisis. And I think that tells you a little bit about our sample, that this is an engaged consumer group who really do care about small businesses anytime.
Do you think part of it too, Mya, is just everyone takes things for granted that you do over and over again, but when you finally realize you can't go get your hair cut, you can't go get a gift for someone, whether it's a birthday or Mother's Day or whatever it might be, with a wide variety of, or a restaurant or any of those things that we were so accustomed to doing. Now people realize, boy, that was small businesses that were actually making that happen this whole time.
Absolutely, you're right about that. Anecdotally, many people have said how much they treasure our strong local small businesses during this time. So this one is, so I use the I Love Local campaign by DeKalb here, the city of DeKalb. I love that. And this is really saying that, yes, there are 41% that often go out of their way to shop at locally owned small businesses. And that 91% of the consumers here are willing to pay much more or even somewhat more to do business with a local small business. And that's really amazing to see. And what they are looking for, the top three reasons why they love doing business with our small businesses, our local ones, is first choice was personalized experiences. And then the second, continual great customer service. And the third, unique products or services. And I think this tells our small businesses a lot about why and their kind of position in the consumer's mind is, yeah, if I want something generic or general, I'm going to just buy it from Amazon or one of the big box. But for a unique product, something that I perhaps cannot find easily online, that is where I'm going to look for my local small businesses. And when I go in, it's going to be personalized to me. So they may, remember my name or keep a good database of my consumer buying habits as a consumer for a small business. And to have that great customer service that when I know something goes wrong, I can call Paulson's immediately and say, help, the washer, 3 little kids getting muddy every afternoon, need it now, kind of thing. That's where the small businesses really are in the consumer's mind here. So 70% of DeKalb County consumers here have shopped with a local small business during the COVID pandemic. And when asked, why did you make that purchase? The two largest responses chosen were that they want the business to be here, still be here when allowed to come back. I don't want to lose that, I don't want to lose a bike shop because that's where we get our children's bikes. I don't want to buy a bike online. I want that here in town. So something like that, where the consumer is like, to sustain this, I need to make a purchase. And the 37% saying, yeah, to financially support during this challenging time. I think our DeKalb County UNITES has done a great job by actually writing a letter and sending it to the governor's office and saying, small businesses are hurting right now with the classification of the non-essential, and just kind of bringing that to light. And I know consumers are thinking about this as well and are acknowledging the challenges that small businesses are facing financially.
Mya, if I could just jump in on this. You talked about unique products before, and if we add unique products into helping a small business and making sure they're here in the future. And then the other large answer was because we're friends. So there's something to be said about the relationship. And you can't get those relationships just by sending emails or doing social media. You need to have that personal relationship with someone, which kind of fits everything else we're seeing here. This is not different in any way. So all of that's aligning to, let's have a relationship. Let's make sure that we do give good customer service. As you said, let's make sure we have unique products. I mean, that seems to be the success for the small business here.
I agree. Next slide, please. So here is a question that we kind of started off thinking about a food area that incorporated grocery store habits and restaurants. So people here are 33% is the largest majority that reported that they're grocery shopping once a week. And then 30% being longer than a week, but less than 2 weeks, kind of right in that 10, 11 days, probably. That's where we have been for our family. And then the 12% is right along, I would say a little bit lower than the national average, what they're finding for using delivery and pickup only. So perhaps we're not as, I don't know, technologically kind of going for it here in DeKalb County, or consumers just prefer to be in the physical stores. But I think it is important to acknowledge and see that, yes, there are consumers who are using delivery and pickup only and are not venturing into the stores at this time. And then the next was 18% of meals are dined out per week. So we had a slider scale from 0 to 100. And I think the highest amount was, somebody said that 87% of their meals are eaten out a week, and down to 0, where there's some consumers who are cooking purely at home and not utilizing dining out.
I think that was the restaurant owners themselves saying.
True. You can go ahead and switch, Cohen. So then this was kind of fun because it incorporated new delivery options, and we asked the ways in which consumers are dining out. And here 4% of respondents said that they have not dined out at all, that they were eating at home exclusively. And the largest response for method of dining out was pickup, so outside the building. 31% said that they've checked the box, that they've utilized that approach. 27% using a drive-through already established before the pandemic. Carry out, so 20% going inside a building to pick it up, obviously not eating inside, just coming back out and taking it home. And then delivery, 19%, where the actual food was delivered to their homes. So I was surprised to see kind of pick up first, and I applaud the restaurants. I'm looking at Miranda's here, Bill, who moved quickly and adapted and created this new delivery mechanism to reach their consumers. And consumers responded very favorably to this. And we're excited about the new pickup options, kind of going right through your car, or kind of very contactless, low contact pickup options. So then we asked here, you know, what was your primary reason for dining out? And the primary one is that desire to support the small business owners' restaurants. And the second being craving for a specific type of food. So, and the third, save time cooking and preparing the meals. So those are the top three. The other ones were like doing dishes and so right there. But the one that's jumping out to me is the desire to support the small business owners' restaurants. And I think what that lets a small business owner know is tell your story, that consumers want to support you. That they want to help the owner. They want to know that you are a member of the community right with us. I think this really shows that consumers desire to connect with you as the owner, and that can be hard at times to kind of let your story out there. But consumers want that. They want that connection and kind of interwoven into the community. And the word bubble that comes up. So we asked them to write down some of the places that they've visited in the last, you know, since the stay-at-home order. And it's not perfect, because if a restaurant has two words, Qualtrics, who we used to do this analysis, is not that clever enough to know that yet. So it's a little all over the place. But I think the one that we're kind of seeing right away is pizza. That pizza, you know, is easy. Families, it's kind of transcends all consumer groups. Everybody does enjoy pizza, and that was utilized during these times.
So if I wanted to start a business at this time, from what I'm seeing, it's not a bad idea to open up a restaurant, although, you know, the stats say something differently, but it could be a good time to open up a restaurant, as long as I have some kind of ethnic food, as long as they know my story. And maybe I should start to think about, how do I cater or position my marketing to talk about saving time for you with, you know, fresh items and that kind of thing. You know, the small business and the entrepreneur is always about, where's the niche that I could fit in? And other than McDonald's, the big franchise there, you know, maybe other people want to carry pizza. I don't know, but there is opportunity still there for people, which I think is what this survey is really about.
Oh yeah, and I think showing our current business owners that, you know, I think that they do a good job of saying, you know, this is the specific type of food that you'll get when you come eat at my restaurant. But perhaps changing some marketing messages to incorporate, your own small business owner story, and kind of this, I can help you save time during this time.
Agreed.
So next we switch to more future kind of recovery planning, and this is where we're getting of that desire for physical connection again. So of the possibilities, I asked respondents to select the top 3, and 73% overwhelmingly said, I want to get together with my friends or loved ones in our homes. That is really something that consumers are desiring at this time. 48% said, I want to dine out in a bar or a restaurant. So that also on consumers' minds, wants to get out and experience that again. 38% want to shop in stores. So we're able to do that at businesses that are classified as essential right now. But when thinking about small businesses, 38% of consumers want to get back in some of the small downtown stores. And 36%, the fourth choice was, I want to get out and travel for leisure again. The weather's getting nice. Yes, it's time to travel and see the world. The next most reported activities were go to church, temple, mosque, visit a library, and go to the gym. And some written in ones that I forgot to ask is quite a few respondents said, I need to get my hair and my nails done. That was the top write-in answer. And I'm kind of right there with those respondents.
You know, if we have a chance later on, we should ask Courtney about this travel for leisure, because I know that there's been a lot of information about traveling for leisure, but more day trips. And there are plenty of things to do in DeKalb County for those day trips. And maybe, you know, Courtney can chime in later. Just one other thing, if you have any questions or comments, please go down to the bottom in the Q&A. Please put them in there because we are looking for that kind of feedback. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks for that plug, Jock. You're now my favorite.
All right.
Yeah, you can go ahead and go. So here, building on that travel for leisure some more, we asked when consumers want to get back out and travel. And June, July, August, September, 43% of respondents said, I'm ready to go during already this summer. There was about, I want to say about 10% though that did say that I want to wait until like 2022 and beyond. So we're seeing that divergence of consumer behaviors here. But I think it's really interesting to look at that 43% are itching to get going this summer. This also too, the eat inside a restaurant, there were only 6% of consumers ready to do it on opening day. That number a bit surprised me, but then that bumped up to within 4 weeks, within the first month of getting opening back inside a restaurant, 41% were looking to dine back inside. So that number was a little bit lower than I thought, but there's still, yes, much to be concerned. And participate in a large group activity. So here we're seeing the kind of bipolar responses as well. So 22% of consumers said, I'd feel comfortable right away whenever we get to phase 5 and these large group activities, so runs or downtown festivals or sporting events. 22% said, yep, I'll go right away when it's allowed, while another 24% said, I actually need to wait here until a vaccine is being offered for me to feel comfortable to participate. So this, these three really tell us a lot about kind of how people are predicting their future behaviors here coming in the next years.
And I think that we really have to take a look at this. And I'm not a Debbie Downer by any stretch of the imagination, but I think we're going to go slow and grow here. It's not going to be the Wild West again. We're going to take some time to do this in a slower pace than what we probably all wanted. But businesses, this is the type of thing you should take a look at about, well, how do I prepare for this? How do I gradually gear up for this? What can I be doing differently to help? And actually the next slide absolutely gives you some pointers with that.
And real quick, I want to comment too. I think this is wonderful from the standpoint of any restaurant owner now has some data that knows opening day, don't be discouraged.
Right.
Open up, just know it's going to be slow. It's going to take people a while to dip their toe in the water of going out, but they're going to come, and they're going to come relatively quickly. Obviously, as long as things don't change and there isn't a spike or something like that. But the data is showing people just don't want to be the first ones, but they're looking forward to getting out, which is great. And then from the event planning perspective, I'm a part of a group that plans a 10K. It's awesome to know that, okay, we've been talking a lot about how do we predict what the impact of this is going to be. And now I've got a number that I can be like, well, there's a good chance we're going to be down 25% of our runners this year. So this is wonderful, wonderful data that's actionable now.
Great, that's what we were hoping for. So yeah, this tells us a little bit more, and I think this is like one of the most important slides here kind of to use going forward. So we ask consumers, what can a small business do to help you feel comfortable as you begin to, you know, purchase with them? So the one, and it honestly surprised me, is 53% placed this first in the rank order, was consumers want to see small businesses continuing these new kind of low contact pickup and delivery options. I was surprised by this. And I think this tells us a lot that, yeah, that consumers are kind of adjusting to this new normal. This really is a part of it that they'd like to see stay around from a small business perspective. And I think that that really helps us get at the great customer service that consumers expect from our small businesses, and this just being another avenue for you to do that for your consumers, is continue to offer these low contact pickup and delivery options. The second ranked choice was that they expect to see a small business provide hand sanitizer or disinfectant wipes while the consumer is shopping with them. Then the third choice here was to encourage the use of credit cards, debit cards, Venmo, PayPal, or other kind of contactless payment options. That they're okay with consumers encouraging that from other consumers. The fourth thing that consumers are desiring to see is an educational sign right on your door that says, here is how our business is responding to COVID-19, and here are the procedures that you should expect to see from my staff and employees when you're shopping with us, and kind of what we expect to see from you as a consumer. So I think this is important for a small business to think about, is just put this on the door. Tell us what we can expect and what the procedures are that you are doing to make a consumer feel more safe as they shop with you. And the last choice, ranked the lowest, fifth out of the 5, is the expectation that a small business provide face masks to consumers. So that's not where people's minds are. And yeah, consumers are feeling comfortable with bringing their own, or not, not expecting a business to provide that for them. That was the kind of 5th ranked order.
And when Mya talks about putting a sign up, because she is a digital marketer, she's absolutely talking about putting it on your website, putting it with your social media. I mean, it's really, I mean, that just jumps out at me. That's something that's what the group really said. All of these, I'm sure that people are going to break down parts of their walls now to put up little pickup areas in their restaurants or even in their retail. But, the fact that people are willing to come back out, even based upon a small amount not coming back to the store. But here are the ways to help them feel better. I heard somebody say one time, it's kind of like the Goldilocks. You don't want too much, you don't want too little, but you want just right. And just right is going to be a combination of these things and seeing what makes the customers comfortable.
And Jock and Mya, you'll remember we had the DeKalb County Health Department on, and we had a discussion about would the health department be open to creating some sort of sign. Doesn't mean that they've inspected the restaurant or whatever, but some sort of identification that this restaurant is abiding by, and it's raise your right hand, business owner. But that consistent look that when people go and shop and dine in DeKalb County, to see, all right, this is a restaurant that says they're abiding by the county's health practices, so I'm going to go ahead and walk inside and see what's happening. We have some people from the county on this webinar right now, so I'm really looking forward to hopefully having that discussion progress, as well as getting that out, especially seeing these survey results now that people want to see some sort of sign in the door saying it's okay to come in.
Great. And then here were some of the kind of top factors that people want to see to be able to resume their activities. And I think we had a list of over 10 choices here, but these are the top 5 that came about. And the first one, the 48%, the first 2, is reduced admission due to limit the crowding. And I think even in a small business, that's okay to say, we're kind of shopping by appointment right now, or we're going to only limit to a certain number of consumers in the store, and posting that and just letting the consumers know that, yeah, we're going to control how many people are in a physical environment at one time. Consumers want to see that. They also want to see increased cleaning measures for all touch surfaces. So kind of a statement of how you are doing that would be very beneficial from a consumer perspective. 45% said that they are waiting to see for a COVID-19 vaccine to become available for them to feel comfortable to get out and resume their activities kind of normally. 45% also want to see an enforcement of masks for visitors, for consumers. That, yeah, it's okay for a business to post a sign and say that, you know, we expect this from our consumers. We want you to wear a mask. That's okay to post and say. And the fifth reason being wide availability of the COVID-19 immunity testing for the factor that consumers are desiring to see.
Mya, did it surprise you that not one of them really had a substantial response as opposed to another?
That's true. You know, yeah, there was no kind of 70% like we saw on some of the other options. So yeah, I think, and there were a lot of options with this. So I think, yeah, people are kind of a bit unsure still about what this all looks like, and even how I'm going to operate or what I need. So yeah, I was kind of surprised to see nothing above 50% of respondents kind of agree on this.
Right.
So since I am a professor of marketing, I had some interest, because I think it's so important for our small businesses to tailor your marketing messages. And the first kind of question in this section of the survey was, what are your preferences for marketing from local small businesses? And 77% said, you know, I like to connect and learn about small businesses through social media. And 67% said, I want to, you know, talk to a friend that lives in the area or my neighbor and get word of mouth to find out about what local small businesses they use. 54% said a website, that's very important to them. 36% email, and down from there. So I think this is showing the importance of social media and digital avenues to connect with consumers. And this really takes us down to the one in the bottom right. So I asked, you know, what is your preferred communication with a small business that you already do business with? So existing consumers prefer social media as their preferred form of communication. So this is really showing that, yeah, there is a strong consumer base here in DeKalb County that desires to connect with our small businesses on social media. And this other statistic really is quite alarming to me too, that 70% of consumers strongly agree or somewhat agree that if a small business doesn't have a clear and up-to-date website, so this is different than social media, a website that is more for information, that they actually find the business less credible. So kind of the current recommendation for small business marketing is to have a website that is informational. You don't have to change that content frequently. Get it up, tell your story. This is that place to tell the small business owner's story, and put up up-to-date contact information or how they might shop with you. Then what we're seeing is that for your existing customers and for doing some of your marketing campaigns to extend your reach, use social media. So that's, you know, kind of putting up posts, and I don't think you have to do all of them. And I think when I mean all of them, I mean the platforms. That's what's kind of overwhelming, I think, for a small business owner at times. Is like, I don't have time to update Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. I mean, the list goes on. So I would say, and I don't have the survey results, but a lot of our consumers in the area, it seems like, uses Facebook, where they're looking for this information.
Hey, Maya, you know, we've had OC Creates on, Brian Oster from there. We've had Morningstar Media Group on, 2 marketing companies in our community, and they have said exactly this. And I need every small business owner out there to hear this and see this. You have to get your social presence updated and in order, and you have to get your website updated and in order. Because if you don't, I mean, Maya has the results right here. There's over 1,000 people that responded to this that said, you know what, if your stuff doesn't look current and it's old and outdated, then I'm assuming the rest of your organization is going to be the same way. This is the impression that they're having. So please, please, please take the time. It's going to take a little bit of time, but take the time and get this stuff updated because it's going to pay dividends. You're seeing it right here in the data from Maya's survey.
I just throw out one caveat as far as that goes. You really do need to know who your audience is, because if your audience is skewing older, you know, keep in mind that we were looking at 30s to 40s, mostly women in this survey, although I believe these numbers are good throughout. But if you're skewing older, social media may not be the thing. So it always comes down to who are your customers and what are they looking at? It's my theory is fish where the fish are. So you're going to put fish in the fishing hole where they're going to come. So just make sure that you know who those people are.
Yeah, and the only add-on I would give that is there's a blocking and tackling to business and communication. And what Maya's talking about, social media, even basic social media presence with relatively current updates and a website that is just updated, that's blocking and tackling, and that's probably going to transcend all demographics out there. So again, please, please, please dedicate the time towards this. You're going to get the return.
Yeah, because you're right. It really does come down to the website and the social media. And there's one chart that I did not put in that I'm regretting right now that does show the importance of a website and an importance of social media. And it really is like in their minds that a business should have both. I think while the existing customers have already found you, then they want more social media, more engagement, more, you know, kind of the storytelling side of it there. But I think to be found, right, people are, you know, searching for you on Google, and you need to have a website for people to be able to say, okay, this looks credible. Like when you go to a Google search and it doesn't have a website, yes, I do make those kind of, that same feeling comes over me when I'm like, oh, I don't even know if I want to shop there. So yes, having a website in addition to social media, doing both is truly the kind of bread and butter together. Yeah, and it looks like we're finishing up here. We actually went a little bit over today, so I just want to thank everybody. This, you know, this has been incredible to work on this with you, Jock, and with the entire DeKalb County UNITES team. And thank you to each of you, the small businesses. And I hope this data can help you. And please feel free to reach out to me. My email is mya@niu.edu. I'd be happy to kind of share any more, talk about any of the insights on a deeper level. I haven't even had time to kind of break things down by age groups because I think we would start to see difference in millennial consumer versus a baby boomer consumer. So if there's something that you're really, really interested in, let me know. And Jock and I do hope to kind of break this down by different consumer groups now and get out almost a white paper in the next couple of weeks to have even more insights for you.
God, that's great because we've had some questions we'll be posting on our website. Absolutely, we'll be posting this on our website so it's available. We'll have it up on social media so you all will be able to find it. We're practicing what we're preaching by keeping our social media and our website current and up to date. Maya, you crushed it. Jock, thanks for all your help on this. This is really, really good stuff. Great action items for small businesses to be able to just take and adopt and get ready for as things transition back to the way it used to be. So I can't thank you enough for the time you spent on this. So you all know we're all volunteers here, right? So this was extra time and energy that these two took to help get this to market, basically. So again, thank you for the time that you spent. Anything else, Courtney, that I missed? Any questions you want to call out?
No, I don't think so. One comment though, Maya, was can you also put the questions with the results so that they have a better understanding of the survey?
Sure, yeah, I'd be happy to kind of put almost like a raw analysis up that that Jock and I ran first, just to get that up there so people can use it. Yeah, so that we have the actual question and then here's kind of the initial analysis before we made it look like this. But yeah, we'll get that up on the website within the next 24 hours, I'd say.
And as Maya mentioned, if you guys develop more materials, we'll make sure we get all those out on our website as well. All right, so our website, DeKalbCountyUnites.com. You can go on social media and look for us under DKC Unites. You will find us in a variety of ways. Again, if you need anything at all that you think DeKalb County Unites can help you with from your small business, your nonprofit, or your 501c6, absolutely reach out to us. We're happy to help in any way that we can. Don't forget to go to our website, click on webinars, and register for this upcoming Monday's webinar with Dr. Jock Sommese, Mark Kerman from Seaford and Company, and Frank Roberts from the First National Bank of Omaha, as we'll be continuing the discussion around PPP and EIDL. So with that, I want to thank all my panelists for coming on today and all the time and energy you spent. Thank all the attendees for taking a little time out of your day to come. I hope you learned something, even though I know you did. And check out our website for the survey itself. With that, I'll just wish everyone a happy day. Take care.